Well, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Excited to be with you, excited to share the news. Folks, this is awesome. I'm giving you 3 wins for the price of 1. And thinking of 3 for the price of 1, how about 5 for the price of 1? That's right, because with these sponsors, Freedom Hill Coffee and My Pillow, one, you get to enjoy a great night's rest. The other, a great cup of coffee. But not only that, you get to save money using promo code Lumberjack. 10% off Freedom Hill Coffee, 66% off at My Pillow, up to 66%. Okay, they still have the BOGO on the Giza Dream Sheets. Change your life, I'm telling you. But you know what's so great? 5 for 1. You get great products. You get to support the parallel economy and small businesses. You get to support the show. You get to save money, and both places support veterans. Woo! We're winning now, folks. All right, I'm serious. I'm jacked about this report. All right, so here, this one first out of the Palmieri report. Another win. Amtrak suspends jab mandate, no longer expects to cut services. One of the things is people gave up freedom too easily. Like there were a lot of people who wanted to, they don't like being forced into things, really is what it boils down to. And who does, okay? But they caved because they thought, oh, no, I might lose my job or whatever else. Well, the mandates are falling apart. Amtrak has announced they are suspending the mandate now. Due to this, they say they are no longer going to have to cut services. So this was a letter to employees from Bill Flynn, all right? And they go on, first they start talking about all their successes and how they followed the public health experts. And, now that they have 95.7% of the people. But here's what's interesting. They're either fully jabbed or have an accommodation. So one of those accommodations is probably a religious exemption. So I don't know what the total number of people who are actually jabbed. But bottom line is they're either accommodated or jabbed. Okay, so now going on from there. So here's specifically what's gone on with this. That will allow employees who have accommodations to continue working, but they do have to submit to a negative test, okay, because of public health officials and whatever. The testing option, like all approved accommodations, is subject to review and reassessment, but is expected to remain available regardless of the outcome of the executive order litigation. For unjabbed, without an approved accommodation, Amtrak will provide the testing option on a temporary basis pending the outcome of the EO litigation or further statutory. But it never was an EO. That was another thing. I covered this on another one, okay? This is the thing. A press release is not an executive order. They are trying to shield themselves from all potential liability. It's legal jujitsu. It's tomfoolery. It's shenanigans. After reviewing our service system, service plans in light of these changes, we do not anticipate having system-wide service impacts in January. So, what you can get out of this basically, and if you want to get jabbed, that's great. If you don't, whatever. That's not what this is about. This is about whether or not companies can mandate you to do this, and they're getting trounced in court. Now, U.S. passenger, from the Wall Street Journal, some of the largest U.S. hospital systems have dropped the jab mandates as well after a federal judge temporarily halted the Biden administration. Many hospitals, folks, have already struggled to find workers, including nurses, before this all began. The shortages were compounded by burnout among many medical workers and the lure of high pay rates offered to nurses who travel to hotspots on short-term contracts. More recently, thousands of nurses have left the industry or lost their jobs rather than get jabbed. As of September, 30% of workers at more than 2,000 hospital systems across the country surveyed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention were unjabbed. It's been a mass exodus, and a lot of people in the healthcare industry are willing to go and shop around, said Wade Simons. And apparently they can shop in Florida. So this out of the Epic Times. University of Florida Health backs off plan to fire unjabbed employees. Employees of UF Health, part of the University of Florida, received word on December 13th that the requirement for all faculty and staff to be fully jabbed for the virus has been suspended. Any of the 30,000 employees, 30,000 who have yet to submit proof of vaccination or receive approval for a medical or religious exemption will no longer have to request exemptions in order to opt out according to an email from UF Health President David R. Nelson. With the policy change, the healthcare giant joins a growing number of hospital networks backing down on these policies at a time when hospitals around the country are reporting critical staffing shortages. Again, businesses cannot survive without employees. Are you catching this? Businesses cannot survive without employees. Eventually, when they lose too many employees, they are going to change because they have to, because that's the nature of business. Okay? If you don't like being forced to do things and you think, oh, well, I'm just going to go along with it so things can get back to normal, that's ensuring that they won't. It's ensuring that they can then offer more control over your life. Okay? Say, that's a relief to employees who are facing Christmas, wondering whether or not they would still have jobs in January. Though the possibility of losing health insurance for a family of 6 loomed, UF Health respiratory therapist Amy Tillis remained confident, she said. Tillis never doubted God would intervene, allowing her to keep a 15-year job that she loves without requiring her to take, the jab. So when the mandate first came out, they were required to wear N95 masks all the time at work. It was uncomfortable and pointed out that the workers who had not yet submitted to the mandate. My supervisor, the vaccinated actually earned a sticker that said hero to display. So they were using all these little peer pressure tactics. Oh, you get a little hero tag and you have to wear the face covering and so on. My supervisor said, I really hate to lose you, she recalled. I'm not going to quit, she said. You're going to have to fire me. But the anticipated firings won't happen, at least for now. Okay, so that going on. But then it gets, where's my other win? Oh, okay, here it is. The situation is dire. Salvation Army faces holiday shortages after telling white donors to face their racism. I walk by, and I used to always give to the Salvation Army people. It actually has one of the best stories of a founder in the Christian ministry field of all time. I mean, if you don't know the story of the Salvation Army and how it began and what that man did, it's beautiful, it's glorious. But everything work turns to, what did Trump say? Something about a pile of brown stuff. Anyways, this out of the Gateway Pundit, the Salvation Army asked for more than donations this year. The Christian charitable organization asked all white donors to reflect on their racism. Wow. After a major uproar, the Salvation Army backtracked over Thanksgiving weekend and released a statement refuting claims of their racial demands. The Salvation Army then removed its absurd Let's Talk About Racism guide following the intense backlash over a text last week that told white donors to sincerely apologize for their racism while hinting that Christianity is institutionally racist. I read it. They backtracked. They tried to get off of that. And then they're like, oh, no, it's not that. But now they're saying the situation is dire because people like me aren't going to give to them. We're not giving to this wokester stuff. And you know what? Actually, us who are evangelical believers are some of those that believe in tithing and giving more than any others. So we give our money, but not to this junk. Not at all, okay? Well, my propane truck's here. You can hear the little dinging out there, okay? It's now facing a toy and donation shortage in this year. Here's a thought. Maybe they shouldn't have insulted their donors. Okay, so that's what's going on. 3 major wins. Okay, so the public pressure campaign on the Salvation Army to change their tune and to show them what happens when they just insult their donor base. We've got the University of Florida and other health systems backing off mandates, and Amtrak as well. Folks, the news is so fantastic. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Remember to support the sponsors because they support the show, and I love y'all. All right, peace out.